Welcome to G-Tap.
G-Tap.
We are out here in the splendor of nature because it's almost E3 time, and that means that we'll be inside a lot, being indoor kids and sitting in the glow of televisions and computer monitors and not seeing the sun for like 4 days.
I need as much vitamin C as we can get from the sun.
Yeah, no. Or is that D?
Yeah, we need vitamins.
We need vitamins.
Lots.
But what we're here for is, as a tradition with most outlets, including our own, is to make E3 predictions and see how wrong we are in like a week or two.
Yep. And hopefully this year I don't get smoked as much as I did last year, because I got smoked last year.
You were adventurous, I would say.
Oh, absolutely. But
yeah, I got more right.
Yeah.
That was true.
So, if you guys don't know and haven't watched our old ones, the format basically on this is we talk about each and every one of the conferences, starting from the first conference EA all the way to the last conference Nintendo.
Well, the press events.
Yeah, exactly.
Again, they may be in a theater, they may just be online, but the point of the matter is there are there's an extra one this year as opposed to last year because there's Square Enix is having another one, which I think they had one in
It's like 2 years ago.
Yeah, as I say, it was maybe 2015. Yeah. So we're going to go in chronological order in when they're going to happen. And it all kicks off, we'll just get into the first one. Will be on Saturday. Electronic Arts has they've been doing, I think it's 3 years running. They have sort of an aside. They have like a tent village kind of set up outside of the LA Convention Center where they talk about this stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's like the EA experience, I think is what it's called, like the play experience or something like that.
Yeah, they used to be on Monday, and then they were on Sunday, and now they're on Saturday. They're trying to get ahead of everybody, so they start on Saturday. I'm going to be looking at my watch because that's where I have my notes written down.
All right, my phone down.
I'm going to just start with, I think, the lowest hanging fruit, because we always do low, high, middle. I'm going to do the lowest hanging fruit is I very much expect them to go on stage and not only talk against loot boxes, but act like they don't know what loot boxes are. My note is, loot boxes? What are loot boxes? We never would do. We're gamers. Go for the game. Like, I expect them to sweep that so far under the carpet as to almost not acknowledge it and only acknowledge it through what they are doing for monetization versus what they did.
I doubt they'll even say loot box. It'll all be DLC content is what it'll be now.
Games as service content and ongoing updates for you, the gamers.
Exactly. It won't be any random content.
Again, with the bloodbath they've had between Battlefront and the rumors about Anthem and that Anthem's going under the hood to get work done, it's just they need the good PR.
Exactly. Yeah. So I got a fairly easy one. Let's be honest. They're gonna play live demo of Battlefield, as they always do.
Yeah.
And there will be problems with it on stage.
Did we find out? Is it V or 5? It's 5, right?
I don't know, actually.
I think it's 5.
Is it 5?
They're stylizing it as a V,
but they're gonna have problems with it. They do every single year. They did Battlefront last year. They had problems with Battlefield the year before that. They almost freaked out.
I mean, again, I think, but there's a weird part of me that I think that they partially want that to go a teensy bit off the rails. I think it goes more than they want, but I think that's one thing that they do is I feel it's almost planned in the sense of it gives you the idea that this is the real game you're looking at. This isn't a polished version.
Yeah.
This is when you put 64 people into the same battlefield, things break.
Yeah, I mean, I can see that, but you don't need to see the developers actually freaking out themselves. You know what I mean? When they do that.
True. My medium, and I'm sad that it's a medium and not a low-hanging fruit, but with all the internal cancellations we've heard about, I'm hoping that this is the first year since Battlefront they announced EA has another Star Wars game that it's ready to go. Now, I don't think anything will be ready until 2019 at the earliest. But with the Any Hege game, like, apparently destroyed and getting ripped apart, and like there's the Visceral game has one. I just expect they will finally pull the lid off a little bit of, hey, we do have another Star Wars game, and it's single player or it's co-op focused or it's not Battlefront. So that's my medium.
Gotcha. My medium, it doesn't seem like it should be a medium, but Anthem, I think we're actually going to see single player gameplay footage. So like everything we've seen up until this point with the gameplay footage seemed like it was online, people were working together, doing things. With the focus going away from loot boxes and things like that have happened with Battlefront, I think they're going to try to focus on the single player and try to get people to focus on that instead of all the online stuff.
Right, and it'll help dissuade the monetization completely, and it will hopefully get people to think that at least has as much single player as like a Destiny or something.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay, and then my last one. Unfortunately, I had a tie, but I'm gonna go with my gut and say Burnout. Now that shouldn't be as far out as I think it would be, but they're so addicted to the Need for Speed brand. They've been so avoidant of kind of mentioning Burnout ever since, God, I mean, it feels like it was 4 years ago or something. They had the and it's got jet skis and it's got planes and it's like Burnout, but it's like crazy, and then Burnout just died away. But with the Burnout Crash Mode type games that came out for Steam from previous developers, and just the Need for Speed games just not lighting up the charts the way they used to, I really think that Burnout has a chance to come back in a meaningful way, and Burnout Paradise might have just been a testing the water of like, this brand still has relevance, right?
I completely agree with you. That's actually my third one as well. Yeah, Burnout coming at.
Okay, then I'm gonna say my tie.
What's your
then my tie was gonna be and nothing else. They talked about Anthem, Battlefront 5, and that's it.
Oh, well, I mean, we know,
or Battlefield 5.
Well, we know they're gonna have their sports reel.
Oh no, I literally my out of the range is they're just like, Anthem's coming, buy it. We hope you enjoy it. Back to the party. So okay.
All right.
Okay.
So second conference after that, which is I think Sunday morning or afternoon.
Well, depends on what time zone you're in, but I think it's early afternoon there.
We have Microsoft, so one of the big three, where anything can happen with third-party developers being on stage and things like that going on.
And I think probably the most interesting because they're in such a scrappy position.
Well, yeah, because it seems like Sony's really trying to take the conference already.
Right.
Like, as of today, Sony has already announced a few things. Like, they announced the Tetris VR. Today and things like that. Sony is trying to win the conference before the conference starts.
Right.
Right now.
So Microsoft probably has the biggest, I guess the biggest thing is they're the worst off at the moment as far as, like, position and mind share.
Yeah.
But they also have the biggest gain to ground. Just some simple things could really give them a big win.
Absolutely.
So what do you have for your easy one?
My easy one is, one of the games they announced last year was Ori and the Will of the Wisps, the sequel to Ori and the Blind Forest. I think we're getting a release date.
Oh yeah.
I forgot about that. Yeah, so I think they'll show off some gameplay, of course, and then we'll get an official release date. Hopefully, because it was a really fun game, and I really like the last one. If you haven't played it, go and try it. But it's one of those things. I think they're going to lead in with something like that.
Yeah, and it's a nice, easy indie win as well.
Yeah.
Mine's kind of really simple. It's just I expect to see a corral of new IP.
Okay.
If the first party stuff is what they need to bolster. And I think already you saw they try with like ReCore and Sea of Thieves and stuff like that. And I just think that the best place for them to gain ground is what Sony's been doing this console generation, which is brand new ideas that are big and new and define this console generation the way that, like for Microsoft, Halos and Gears of War defined the last one.
Gotcha. Cool. My second one is a third-party production. We will see, I think, we're going to get Borderlands 3 on the Microsoft stage.
Okay.
Borderlands, it worked on both consoles, but I think for some reason I have a feeling that they'll work with Microsoft a little bit better when it comes to this stuff. And I think because of something else that's going to happen during the Sony one, we're going to see the Borderlands one happen on their stage and get the reveal, because that's been a game that's a long time coming.
Gearbox said they weren't going to bring it,
Yeah,
so
we'll see. People always say that.
That's true. It's true. My medium one is actually one that would be a real kind of game changer based on what a lot of people think Microsoft's long-term plans are, which is not to abandon the Xbox, but to be the Xbox is just one outlet of Microsoft products. And that would be that the Game Pass that they have for Xbox will extend to the Windows Store. Okay. So that PC games, not only, right now they have cross-buy, right? If the game's on PC and the game is on Xbox, you can buy it in both places and play it in both places. I think the Game Pass, which they're really kind of pushing on the consoles, will come to the PC, so the PC gamers are almost underwriting Xbox development and vice versa.
Gotcha. Yeah, I could definitely see that. That'd be an interesting way. I'd be interested to see how they'd work out some of the rights and stuff like that, and different things to go along with that.
It might have to
At
be
that
first
point.
party.
Yeah,
It might
exactly.
be. It might be something like your like Halos or something
Hmm.
like that. Like Halo 6 is coming to PC and Xbox same date, and if you have Game Pass, you get it with it.
Gotcha.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
I can definitely see that. So my big one, and it's a little ridiculous, is someone will be using the Duke on stage. Someone will be using the Duke controller, the big
The hor-
honking
the- yeah,
thing, the thing that you could club a baby seal to death with. Someone will be using that at some point, and they will be showing it off on stage. That
That would be fun.
That would be fun. And I don't know, it's probably not going to happen because they don't ever show off. Usually hardware and things like that on stage.
Not really.
Very rarely.
Well, especially
but-
considering they got like the biggest hardware announcement is that adaptability controller, and they sort of got that all out of the way a week or so
Exactly,
ago.
yeah.
Okay, my last one is doubling down on Game Pass. I think Game Pass is Microsoft's.
I think that's their bread
I
and
think
butter.
that's their plan. I think that's their real plan to weather the storm of this generation until they can start a new message next generation. And in that vein, what I expect to have happen is I really expect them to say, we have a brand new game that you're excited about, maybe not a dead ringer like a Halo or something, but that will be exclusive to Game Pass. You will not be able to purchase it. You will only be able to subscribe to it
So-
through Game Pass.
So download only style.
Right, and I mean that could be. I mean, the simplest answer could maybe be like a Crackdown 3 if that ever comes out. But I expect it to be more like, no, one of our holiday tentpole releases. You need to be paying us $10 a month to play it.
Gotcha. Okay. That would be interesting. I mean, it'd be bold. And I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know PR-wise how that would go.
Well, I think they're
I
in
think
a
if-
position because they're down in the trenches right now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they could build a new generation on it, but being in third place, that's a story that they can make work.
So right now, do they do a free trial to Game Pass?
They do. You get,
Okay.
I think it's 30 days actually.
Okay. So like, if they presented it as a
Now it'd be a miracle if you have that after Sea of Thieves and State of Decay 2. You haven't cashed that in yet, but
Yeah.
there is one.
I mean, that would be the way I'd really present it, is 30-day trial, and with that you get to play this game with it as well.
Yeah, and
And what I do is I do it as a timed exclusive.
maybe, but just to keep my position hard and bold,
Oh, yeah,
I'm
I'm
going to
just-
say that
I'm
it's
just
going to
thinking-
be something that you can never get unless it's the Xbox. Now, of course, it also predicates a little bit on, I think the PC part of it will happen too, and just Game Pass will be a Microsoft service,
Yeah.
like Office 365 or something. It won't just be an Xbox.
That makes sense.
Then I'll be honest. I think we get to the most interesting conference, just because
Especially.
I don't know. Sunday night we'll wrap up with the Bethesda conference. They'll be back in the theater, and hopefully they won't just bring a movie clip with them, like they did last year, which
yeah,
was,
that was
so
rough last year.
underwhelming. But they're interesting because I think out of all the companies, they might be the masters of social media. They've done really good with their little teases, or when a leak happens, playfully playing it off.
Yeah.
Like when Rage 2 came out, the fact they used the Rage Twitter account, which had been dormant for 2 years, to like come out and critique the graphic design of the leak. Like they're just sharp, and it's made the fact that like everyone's like, oh, all the stuff's leaked, we know what's going on. Do we?
Yeah.
Do we?
exactly. I mean, I don't think so.
Yeah, I don't think so either. And just saying things like they say this is their biggest announcement set ever. So my low-hanging fruit for this is now that we know that there's a Fallout 76 for the current generation consoles, I think there will be a tie into that enthusiasm for the Switch. I think that you can already see that Skyrim's done really well for them, Doom's done really well for them. I think the pre-orders are already saying that like Wolfenstein's going to do well for them. I think they're going to become a big second pillar to the Switch because they've always been good at marketing their old content. And so I fully expect that there'll be a Fallout tie-in. Now I say a Fallout tie-in because this is the easy guess. I can't tell you if it's going to be a 3 remake or a new Vegas
like a 10th
port
anniversary
or a
or
port of
something like that,
4th or what or 4 or whatever it is. But I'm just thinking the Fallout brand in a way more meaningful than just like Fallout Shelter will show up on the Switch before the end of the year.
Okay. Yeah. So I'm staying with the Fallout theme basically on this because let's be honest, that was the big thing that's happened.
Yeah.
Going for this.
Yeah.
Vault 76. We're gonna get gameplay footage.
Yes.
I think we're going to get a release date in this year.
Yes.
I think it is going to be out before the end of the year.
There were some of like I think Amazon and stuff that had it as like had dates pop up as July and August as it
Oh,
rolled through
really?
their system.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if it's gonna be that close because that'll be like
No, I think
that'll be like the Sega Saturn of like, hey, here at the E3 press conference, the Saturn's releasing today. Why? We're all in this room.
Yeah,
Why would you do that?
Yeah,
But
I think it'll be a holiday title. I think it'll come out
I
October,
think it's-
November. I don't know if it'll go directly up against like Battlefield or Call of Duty.
Yeah.
because that might be a bad idea for
Especially if it's
based
co-op like they're
on
talking
what they're
about.
talking about. But if you release it in mid-October, that would be a good holiday time for that to come out.
I could believe that it would be coming out late summer, like August or September, to get ahead of it, essentially. If my second prediction is correct, which is we finally see Starfield. Now, Starfield is a sci-fi version of the Bethesda Game Studio type of game. The pick everything up, nothing's nailed down. You can talk to everyone. If you want to go towards the plot, you can. If you don't, you can go away from it. The Elder Scrolls, the Fallouts, except it'd be a sci-fi universe, and most people think it's Starfield because there's a long upheld trademark for Starfield that they've been having. And so I really think last year they were supposed to release it. I think I even said that in my interviews that it was going to be a sci-fi game. I think this is the year that they definitely release it, and I think that might be their holiday tentpole if it exists.
I don't know.
And
if that
Medium's
actually-
my guess.
I think that'll get pushed to next year if they're going to do that. I don't think it'll be out this year.
I think if it was ready to be presented last year, then it's probably ready to release this
Yeah.
year.
I just think they would be going against their own games too much in that. But yeah,
Well, again,
anyway,
I would say that 76 would release in like a July,
Yeah.
August, September
Anyway.
for that to work.
my medium one is something they've done pretty much the past couple years. They've shown this off is we're going to get a new mobile game.
Oh, okay.
So we had Fallout Shelter, and then we had Elder Scrolls
Legends.
So I have a feeling we're going to get something else. It seems to be
Okay.
kind of their new MO. Is every single year they're putting out some kind of mobile game to kind of keep people interested in their IPs and things like that.
And the nice thing with mobile games is those are good for those, and you can get it tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I have a feeling we're going to see something brand new. I don't think it's just going to be an update
Right.
to something. I think we're going to get a brand new, whether it's like Elder Scrolls Village Maker, whatever it may be.
Right.
Something like that.
Huh. Okay. And then my last prediction, which is out of the range, is so the general gist of people following Bethesda is that we are not going to get an Elder Scrolls 6 anytime soon because basically Elder Scrolls Online will have to be anemic and be ready to be put out to pasture by the time they're ready to cannibalize it with a new Elder Scrolls game. So, assuming that's not going to happen, Todd Howard said, I think 2 years ago, that his team, which had grown a lot, was working on 2 games in addition to Fallout 4.
Okay.
Starfield has always been the assumed one.
Yeah.
76, all people are speculating if it's in-house, out-of-house, new team, old team. So I feel that there's still one kicking around, and I think we will get a tease for it that, again, in my magical timeline, 76 comes out really close. There's Starfield at the end of the year. And in 2019, we will be getting another type of Bethesda game, which is something we've never seen. Maybe it's a Western, maybe it's a World War II game. Some Bethesda-style game that's in a different genre than they've already explored.
Okay. Going on your premise with teases.
Yeah.
I don't care what they say. We're getting our Elder Scrolls tease this year.
Okay.
It's going to be... So you remember when they did the original Skyrim tease? It
Yeah.
literally was just them panning across the wall. And then the
Oh, yeah,
dragon
there's
moving.
one they fear, Dovahkiin. And at the very end, you just saw a dude in a horn helmet. That was the most game you saw.
And then 2 years of speculation happened at
Right.
that point. We're going to get that, I have a feeling. It's going to be that weird tease
God,
that
you're
no one
right.
really knows. And then 2 years later...
We'll see if we
We'll
get the Elder
see.
Scrolls, but maybe my third Bethesda game. Maybe I should save that for my Game Awards, suggest, because that seems to be where they always like to put them out. All right, so that'll wrap up Sunday for us. That takes us into, let's see...
Monday. That takes us
Monday.
to...
Squeenix.
Squeenix, Mr.
Square Enix.
Or IDOS, or what'd you call them earlier?
Squid Dicks.
There you go.
If you put all their names together into one awful impromptu. So anyway, the point is you got Square Enix, again, having a conference, which they haven't had in like 2 years.
Yeah, not since the Moon Man.
What's, I don't know, who is that? I do the first one, you do the second one.
I think it's my turn to go first.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll go first. So easy, even though you make fun of it quite a bit, Kingdom Hearts gameplay footage. Actual gameplay.
Oh, I'm not going to make fun of it. I'm glad you're taking something sensible like new gameplay footage for it rather than a release date, because that's not happening. Kingdom Hearts 3 will come out never.
I want it to come out. Squeenix, please. But no, we'll
wanted-
get gameplay footage. I think we're going to get a new world. I think they'll show off, whether it be Frozen or
Well, they've
they
been
decide
showing
to go
off new
with.
worlds up to now,
Yeah.
and I think they'll have another one. But again, you're adding all these worlds, and now you're like, well, you have Big Hero 6 in there. Why? That's like a really old movie now. Like, it's one of those things of like, you almost wish Kingdom Hearts was like a game as a service, because every time a tie-in came out, you add new worlds, because that's how Kingdom Hearts 3 has felt because of how long its development
the one thing I
cycle
will
has
say
been.
about Big Hero 6 is they had the TV series. That was
Oh
starting
no,
as
no,
well.
it's not that. It's just, it's just one of those things of like, it needs to get out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
It needs to get out so we can work on Kingdom Hearts 4.
It needs to come out, yeah.
And wait 10 years for that. For me, my low-hanging fruit is I think Square Enix is happy with where like games like they are providing for the Switch, like Octopath Traveler, where that's heading.
Yeah.
And I suspect that along with how a lot of companies are doing, like Capcom especially recently, I think you'll see Square Enix bring a lot of retro support in the near future to the Switch.
Okay.
That you'll be able to buy, like just like you can on PlayStation Network and Steam, like the 1 to 9. You could be able to purchase that and play that on a Switch.
Or go for like the old like Super Nintendo, like Legend of Mana and stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I
Secret of
see
Mana,
them
things like that.
monetizing like collections where each game's like $10 or $15 because they always overcharge for this stuff. But you'll see some of their biggest catalog like 7, 8, 9, maybe something crazy like 10, maybe Chrono Trigger, retro support for the Switch, and just kind of a nice like announcement of here's 5 games coming in the next year to the Switch.
Yeah. Okay. My second one, and I don't think they're going to show much of it, but I think we're going to get an update on Final Fantasy VII. So, like, I don't think they're going to show gameplay. They may show, like, a new cinematic trailer.
That's what I have my medium is
something like
a
that.
Final Fantasy VII sizzle reel.
Yeah, exactly.
Just something to remind people that, yes, it's early days. Yes, we had to restart the project, but it is going.
Yeah.
Here's what we're working on. Here's where it's going, and now the internet can hate it.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is, and hopefully...
So
Yeah, so we're kind of on the
same page on
one.
that.
My hard one, and this is... I was doing some research, and I was looking around for something... I forgot about this completely. I think they're going to reveal what that Avengers project was. So they were working on that.
yeah.
They were working on that Avengers.
I forgot about that.
They were working on that Avengers project
Yeah.
that what a lot of people thought was going to be the new Ultimate Alliance.
Because I was going to say, what was it? They have one, and then it's like Crystal Dynamics or something has
Something
one?
like that. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah,
but
the Avengers license is in a weird spot.
But so I have a feeling that they're going to finally reveal what they're working on with that. Whether
Gotcha.
whether it be an add-on to Kingdom Hearts or Disney
didn't think about
Infinity
that,
or
yeah.
something stupid like that. But like they're gonna finally tell us what that Avengers
What
stuff
they're
is.
working on with
Yes.
Avengers. That's good. That's good. I think it's more reasonable than mine. Mine is that they will dust off Deus Ex and announce that there will be a future for Deus Ex. Mankind Divided did okay, but it didn't light up the charts in any
Yeah.
meaningful way, and I think they were hoping to expand, not contract.
Yeah.
Deus Ex Go was pretty popular, so I just feel like that franchise...
There's legs in that franchise.
And I think if you shake it up, if you stop, I think one of the things that really killed the momentum of Mankind Divided was Adam Jensen. He's a great character, and it was fun to go back to him, but it was kind of it felt sequely in a way that like didn't make sense.
Yeah, why doesn't
that
he have the
world's
powers?
bigger than a guy?
Exactly. Yeah.
So if
Yeah,
I think
agree
if they
with
made a Deus Ex that is a totally different game, they could reboot that series in
Yeah.
a good way,
that. I can see that.
and I really want them to. And that's it for Sunday. So right. Yeah,
no. Sunday finished with.
Sunday
Bethesda.
finished.
We're on Monday
Square
morning.
Enix is they're on Monday They're Monday afternoon.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
early morning over there.
Yeah.
And then Ubisoft picks up in the
Ubisoft
afternoon.
is
I'm
in the
sorry.
afternoon, exactly. Yeah.
So Ubisoft's in a good place.
Yeah, they definitely like when I was looking at stuff, I was like, wow, they have a lot more going on than I thought they did. I mean,
Well, I think between the fact of like it's funny because last year we were going to Ubisoft going like, well, I hope they don't get bought. Like
Yeah.
that was still
Yeah.
looming over them. That cloud is sort of lifted off of them. Then things like Kingdom Battle came out and like got all this great goodwill for them. The Beyond Good and Evil 2 thing, made a lot of people go, oh, they still care. And then Assassin's Creed Origin came out, and I didn't like it, but most people
It
did.
sold
It
well,
really,
though.
really
Yeah.
did well. So they're in a good spot. So it's kind of interesting to see if they squander it or if they expand on it.
and they have a lot of potential things coming out that I'd say they probably have more than any other company out that's doing a presentation that could show up at their press conference for sure.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I'll start off. I think that basically what I expect is they'll bring the Assassin's Creed to Switch.
Okay.
That could be as simple as a port of one of the early ones, like Black Flag, or maybe like a Rogue, where they took the Black Flag assets and made a quick kind of turnaround. So maybe taking. I don't expect an Origins style game on the Switch.
So you don't think you will see what is known as Odyssey right now?
Well, what I would see is like you see a previous game that plays more like an old Assassin's Creed.
Okay.
That's maybe a tie-in to that. So
Okay.
maybe like Assassin's Creed Persia, or something like that, right?
Okay.
An aside, just basically, I expect it to be a spin-off on the Switch. Is I guess what I'm trying to
So
say.
like
But I
Assassin-
expect them to show
maybe
up with
Assassin's
that.
Creed Sparta or something.
Oh, yeah,
something,
that would be
something
cool.
like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I think for my low hanging fruit, pretty easy. We have the Crew. It's in the middle beta right now. Mm-hmm. I think they are going to take some time on the stage and really show all the different things you can do in it.
Okay.
So like they're going to take some live demos and they're going to cut between, because I've been watching a little bit more footage on it because I played the last Crew.
Yeah.
I liked it, but it was very time consuming and just kind of dry. They were like
a little clunkier than they wanted it to be. Yeah.
The new one, beyond cars, you have jet skis and planes and hang gliders and all sorts of different stuff that you can do with it this time.
And especially if EA doesn't bring out Burnout or just tries to
Exactly.
escape with a Need for Speed, there's a big open hole for that type of game.
for that arcade style game, and I think they're really going to take the time to make sure people understand that it's different from what it was before,
Yeah.
and that they're filling a void that's in the market.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see. For mine, I think Beyond Good and Evil 2 is a game they're still figuring out what the hell it's going to be. I think they showed a really fancy thing because I think they got all their art devs to say like, we're going to get bought. You need to make us look good. And I still don't think they know what it is because for a game especially called Beyond Good and Evil 2 that's releasing like 15 years after the original, at least, is that I don't think they know where it belongs in the marketplace. So I expect it to fully slip. Like,
So do you think?
so
it's gonna push
I
on it
expect
at all,
them to
or-
sort of get real catty about when the release date is, and real catty about like I don't expect them to have a big showing. I think they're going to have another sizzly kind of thing,
And it's gonna be just a
and they're just talking about like, oh, it's going to be great. You're going to be able to do all kinds of stuff. Well, what kind of game is it? Is it third person? Is it first person? It's going to be definitely one of those.
Okay.
I expect that game to just sort of not fade into the background, but obviously be slid of like we don't want to talk about that right now because we don't know where it's headed now.
Gotcha. Okay.
Okay.
My medium one is, I think, if you remember back, what was that 4 or 5 years ago? We had that really cool Division trailer where they were talking about how to spread the virus and things like that.
Like the first one that was like, what is this?
Exactly. I think we're going to get another one of those trailers for Division 2.
Okay.
So we're going to get one of those, like, makes you think about, like, how this would actually affect the real world kind of trailers and things like that.
Yeah, because we all know that Division 2 is coming, but the one thing that's interesting is, like, what does it mean? What is that?
What is it about? Because the big thing in the first Division was they spread a virus during Black Friday through the circulation
Through the
of
money, yeah.
And that was the aftermath as you were stuck on Manhattan because you were quarantined.
Right, and you were part of this division,
exactly.
this group of the United States that was basically your government-sponsored preppers who were to put
Exactly.
civilization back together afterwards.
Exactly. So where do you make a sequel out of that? It's kind of where it really comes down
And it
to.
would be, to me, like a different type of disaster, and you could really make a fun trailer to build to that.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
that's what I'm thinking my medium on that one.
Okay. My super hard one is I think they might revive an IP for the current generation of consoles with the success of things like Dark Souls and all that kind of stuff. I think they build a new Zombie with Two Eyes game
Okay.
and build it towards the current generation. A lot of people forget that Zombie U was a sequel to a PC game that was like their first game ever, which was just a zombie apocalypse survival. But one of the things that Zombie U was really known for was its very deliberately slow-paced combat. You know, you swing that cricket bat, and if you miss, you don't get to swing again. You made a mistake, you die.
Yeah.
And I think that gameplay is more popular now than it was in
Absolutely.
2012 when that released.
Absolutely.
And I think if they could just shake off the like, don't remember that it was on the Wii U, and they've released it, I think, on PC and PS3, but like
Yeah, it's come
a
out for a
new
few
zombie
different-
game
yeah.
is my like. Well, that would be really cool if they came back to that well.
Cool. Okay. My hard one, it doesn't seem like it's hard until I explain it. So, I think they're going to announce Rainbow Six Siege 2. Now,
Okay.
Now, it doesn't seem hard until you think about the fact that they just released DLC. for Rainbow Six Siege.
And that game sort of took a long time and finally just got over and
Exactly.
is like really popular
So
now.
I'm not saying it's going to be a good thing, because it could be a horrible mistake for them to do that.
Gotcha.
But I have a feeling that they see all the research.
They want to build something on that brand that's not just supporting that game.
Exactly.
Gotcha.
And I think
And that might be a negative for them.
that could be negative, because I mean, we saw whenever Left 4 Dead 2 came out.
Right, it kind of cannibalized the first one.
Exactly, and people were pissed off about it.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. And so then we end the night with Sony's big press event, which, as you kind of already mentioned, they're
ahead of the game.
they're kind of doing what they did last year in the sense of they want to focus on these vignettes, like showing off the gameplays of not necessarily new games, but like games you already know about, but kind of really pulling the wraps on them and getting the people who want it to be really excited about it.
Exactly.
So what do you think is going to happen there?
So I think, going back, I said Borderlands 2 was going to be on Microsoft stage. I think Red Dead is going to be on Sony's stage.
Huh.
So that's
okay.
what they're going to show off the gameplay for Red Dead through Sony, because I believe, if I remember correctly, Sony actually has the initial rights for DLCs as right
There's
now.
some stuff, yeah. There's
Yeah.
some stuff in the pre-release stuff that has fine print that says early access or first access to PlayStation is a registered
Exactly.
trademark of. So there's a lot of rumors that
So-
PS4 is going to get preferential treatment
so-
for whatever
so
extras come out. For it.
I think they're going to have gameplay footage and potentially release date for it when we get up on stage.
Oh well, well, we have one. It's October.
Yeah.
No.
October to April, sure.
Well, I feel that Rockstar is so bad about announcing release dates that the fact they actually gave it's like October 23rd or something like that. I think that well, we'll see. For me, for Sony, I gotta be honest, I'm totally disinterested in Sony. Sony's first party stuff just doesn't speak to me. I don't think it's bad by any measure. It's just not. It's not the stuff I'm looking for. Like, great example is God of War is apparently an amazing game full of an amazing narrative. It's one of the most narrative-driven experiences. It explores a father-son relationship, which is something we don't really get to do in video games. I should be all for it. And I go, yeah, but it's Kratos and I don't care. Well, this kid's really cool. I'm like, it's an escort mission. Yeah, but he's really good and effective in combat. But like, no, I don't like the idea of escorting someone the whole game. I don't want to play a game where that is what my goal is to get this kid through all this stuff. Like, so for me, like, they're going to be talking about Left 4 Dead 2. They're going to be talking about the new Spider-Man game. They're going to be talking about what else did they say they're going to already show? Days Gone. And it's not that any of those games are bad. I'm just not personally interested. So my low-hanging fruit is it's a snooze fest. It's what they announced they were going to do. They get in there, they do it, and it doesn't change my opinion on any of those games.
So you don't think we're going to get like shocking?
No, I really don't. Because you know what? Last year was impressive what they showed, but very predictable what they showed. It wasn't a whole lot of surprises. It was more the surprise of, oh, that game looks really good. That Uncharted spin-off looks like a really decent standalone game. And that Spider-Man looks like it's going to play like that Spider-Man 2, but even better. Like,
Okay.
I don't think it was surprising. It was maybe delightful and entertaining, but it wasn't surprising, and I really expect it to be the same thing again this year. That's my low-hanging fruit, is that what they've told us it's going to be is exactly what it's going to be.
Okay. So my second one, the only Spider-Man. So Spider-Man coming out and everything like that. One of the things I think they're going to reveal, as part of it, is tying in with Spider-Verse, that there's actually more than one Spider-Man in the
Okay.
game. So you might get a Miles Morales, you might get a Spider-Gwen, possibly a Spider-Ham.
Spider-Ham would be a great little, like DLC or
yeah,
side thing.
exactly.
I
But
will, I will say though, my medium is that Spider-Man impresses me, and I know that sounds like a weird medium, but it's like that's the only game out of all the PS4 exclusives that I've gone, oh, I wish I had a PS4.
Okay.
Everything else I can pretty much go, in 5 years when PS4s are on the bargain bin, I'll buy it and it'll be fine. But like Spider-Man's one, because I love Spider-Man 2 so much, and the swing mechanics in that game look so good that I've almost been avoiding news about it because I don't want to like it as much as I think I already do. So my medium is kind of like yours, is that there's a lot more to that game, and they're just going to say like, yeah, this is the Spider-Man game. This is the best Spider-Man game you're ever going to see.
Yeah. Okay. And then my last one, we were talking about earlier, the games that people are really interested in that are really hard and things like that. And one of the main pillars of those is Bloodborne. That was the Sony exclusive.
Yep.
Guys who did Dark Souls and everything made that as well. So I have a feeling we're going to get a tease of Bloodborne 2.
Okay.
Nothing's been officially announced. I don't even know if it's actually even speculated on, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I think some people are like, it's getting to be about time for more Bloodborne.
It seems like that money pit is being ignored way too much for it not to come back.
I will put it this way: if they talk about it this year, it seems like oh wow, they're getting ahead of the curve.
Yeah.
If they talk about it next year, I think that's when it's expected. 2020, they're like, oh, is it going to be on the new console or the old console?
Exactly. Yeah.
My last thing is is out there. A lot of people are going like and thinking that the PS4 is doing so well, and recently the company was kind of like caught with their pants down when they said, "Oh, we're working on PS5," and people are like, "But why?" And it's like because the R&D cycle takes 3 years, so it's going to take a while. So of course we're working on it. Because I think people just got in their head that the PS Pro and stuff was going to make this system where it was going to be like cell phones, where you're never going to get to the end. It's always going to be these incremental things. And I don't think the PS Pro or the Xbox X have done enough to change the fact that for marketing, if nothing else, you need a box with a 5 on it eventually. So my biggest thing is that we're going to see a teaser, just a teaser, for a brand new IP AAA game from Sony. And it will look so good that we're going to start going, that's not coming out on the PS4, is it?
Gotcha, okay.
That's that game that you're going to talk about that's going to be like a launch for the 5 that you're saying is for the 4, but there's no way that lands on the 4.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of weird, but like, again, a brand new game that looks really exciting, that's really far out there, out beyond like Left 4 Dead.
What was
Last of Us 2 and stuff like that.
What was the Dragons game that came out for PS4 where you had the motion controls?
It was by Factor 5.
Yeah.
Not Rise with a Y, was it?
No,
that's
Rise,
Xbox.
That's Xbox. Anyway, Rise was that same way though.
Yeah.
Those were 2 games that they showed off at E3 that were supposed to be out for a console, and everyone went, "You sure?" And then it came out for the next console as launch.
And again, I don't think they're going to release a new box until 2020. But I think one thing that could happen that people aren't speculating as far as if things go quickly is I don't know if it'll be holiday 2020. I could see them at the PlayStation Experience 2019 say, hey, in April we got a new box. And that's mostly because of how well that worked out for the Switch of early adopters buy it in the spring, you have fall summer to build new inventory, and then the real glut of people come in the holiday, and that just seems like a way better way to market a console in now.
That's true. I'll give you that. That did work out really well. That would give me pause to make think that would be right.
Okay, so that's my prediction from 2019. Yeah. Pay attention to that next year.
So finally, Tuesday morning.
The most fun mystery box to play with.
For every single year, we got Lay Nintendo.
Yes. Formerly press conferences, now Nintendo Directs, now Nintendo Treehouse streams.
Yeah,
like they have such a weird E3 presence, and it's weirdly probably more effective than most of the other companies.
So before we begin, one of mine has already kind of become predicted, and it's I don't think it's officially. It's so strongly rumored that I took it off my list because Fortnite is coming to Switch.
Yeah, no,
that basically has been confirmed at this point.
I'm with you. Any earlier in the year, I'd be like, that'd be a great get. It would be like the Rocket League get of like, that's awesome for them to have that because that's where their audience is. But now it seems like, well, yeah, Unreal wants that. I mean, Epic wants that on every system possible. Exactly. Of course, it's coming to Switch, and it'll be just like the Rocket League, not a surprise, but oh, that's nice.
Yeah, exactly. So I actually took that off my list and had to scramble to put one on here, and that's what my middle one will be. But I'm going to start out with Super Smash Brothers is going to be their major focus. For everything, and that's going to be the majority of their stuff they're showing. Right. And I think they're going to show at least one new third-party character.
Okay.
Because one of the ones
I'm hoping for Simon Belmont.
That's the big one that everyone's kind of thinking, because that's Konami's been working with them on.
And Konami's not doing anything with it, so it's not like they care.
Well, so rumor today, Konami has 2 or 3 new titles they're going to show at E3, according to
we'll see.
Online.
Let me just say that their last game, Metal Gear
Survive 2?
Yeah, Metal Gear Survive does not inspire confidence that Konami really wants to be back in the video game industry, which is such a weird story. Mm-hmm. My low-hanging fruit is something that I think is getting kind of like getting to the point that it's so expected I almost feel like cheating giving it. Yeah. But I still think that I would be I could be surprised if it's not there, so that's why I'm taking it as an easy, which is we will see some gameplay from Metroid Prime 4.
See, what's funny is I stood away from Metroid Prime 4 because I figured you were going to talk about it at some point.
I mean, Metroid Prime 4 is one of those things.
So you think we're going to get gameplay?
Yeah, and I think the reason I'm going to say that I think we're going to get that, I don't think it's as a lot of people are getting to the point they're like, oh, it's going to be in early 2019. And like, I really don't.
I think
Metroid Prime 4 is a 2020 game.
Oh, see, I was thinking holiday 2019.
Maybe.
Yeah.
For the amount of work they have to do and the fact we've only seen a logo, makes me go that they only showed us a logo because they're like, it's coming, calm down.
Well, here's my thought was, you show a cinematic trailer this year.
Yeah.
Go into next year, we show gameplay.
Oh, no, what I mean is, like, do you remember the original Metroid Prime? The original Metroid Prime trailer was a cinematic trailer, but it was in the visor. You knew what the gameplay was going to be, and what I mean by that is, I think there's a bunch of people, especially with the rumors that it's Bandai Namco and how Other M went, that with a third-party developer. I think they're just going to show enough of a footage and enough of a here's what the gameplay is going to be like to get people to go, okay, it's a first-person adventure game like the Prime series is known for. It's going to have a strong female character. Yeah. It's going to be what you want it to be, and it's going to be another one of those curbing expectations of like, we're working on it and it's what you want, calm down. I really think it's far away, but I think we'll get that assurance. That's why it's on the low hanging fruit.
Okay. My middle one, like I said, I had to scramble a little bit because I had Fortnite in my middle slot, actually, at one point. So I'm going to kind of go a little over-under here. We're going to get new Amiibos. That's pretty much a precedent. We know that's going to happen. They're going to show off new Amiibos like they did last year.
Yeah.
My over-under is we're going to have 2 Nintendo games and 1 third-party Amiibo showed.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so that's my over-under on that. Is at least that many are going to be shown.
Okay.
Because like you think about it, last year we had the Mario Odyssey ones.
Yes.
What else? They showed off the Shovel Knight ones and things. A couple of the new Shovel Knight ones last year as well. So.
So I'm Dark Souls one. Yeah.
Exactly. So I think I'm like right in that right realm on that.
Okay. For me, the middle of the road is one that, like, again, shouldn't be, but I think it is because. So the rumors with Smash Brothers, right, is that it's not just a port of the Wii U, and it's not going to be Smash Brothers Deluxe. It's actually rebuilt. Not that you're going to tell that well because the gameplay is going to be the same.
Exactly.
But, I think along that same vein, I don't think they're just going to port Mario Maker. I think they're going to have a Mario Maker 2.
Okay.
And why it's a medium is I don't honestly expect them to announce it now, but I think that's being worked on. So maybe a tip of the hat, like like a man standing at a desk saying, "We're working on Pokemon," like that. We're working on Mario Maker 2, and it gets the engine fired of like, oh, well, now this one will have Mario 2, and it'll have Mario Land, and all kinds of other things to make it bigger.
So kind of like what they did with the new core Pokemon being 2019, where they're like, maybe attach it onto something else being talked about, and we'll say, oh, and Mario Maker 2 is coming out.
Yeah.
Eventually.
Yeah, because I think that it's further away than people want it to be because I think they're going to be making a sequel. And it's not going to be just a port.
Okay. My last one is one that's been rumored for a while, but they haven't talked about it. There's no precedent for it. Fire Emblem Switch.
Oh, yeah.
I think is going to at least get people are going to talk about it. At least a little bit. I don't know if we'll get any gameplay footage or anything like that, but it is something that with the mobile game that came out that was relatively popular, and the popularity of the ones for the 3DS, I think it's.
I think it's also going to get kicked up with Smash Brothers. Exactly. People are going to be interested in it. Yeah. So my last one is mostly predicated on the fact that all the arrows seem to point that Smash Brothers will be coming out in September to launch the Nintendo Online services.
Correct.
That being the case, if that goes, my big thing is that they will have a big holiday tentpole, something that releases in November or December, and I think it will be something that's been unannounced. It won't be Fire Emblem. It won't be Shin Megami Tensei.
I think it's going to be Star Fox because that was the other.
It won't be that Star Fox racing game because if that comes out, that is not a holiday tentpole. I mean, maybe, I don't know. Mario Kart sells way better than I always remember it does. But the thing about it is, to me, it would be just something that we haven't seen. Now, the easiest way for me to get out of this prediction and be right is Animal Crossing. because they have not actually announced they're working on an Animal Crossing at all. We just all go, "Oh, they have to be."
Yeah, exactly.
So that would be an unannounced one that they could release in the holidays. But I'm more thinking of like literally something new. I think you can see that there's a hungry new generation of people that are making the Splatoons of the world, and I feel that they are going to be making new IPs for
So you
Nintendo.
got a
And
brand new
Nintendo's
IP.
not going to be just the company it's always been. And so a new IP, I don't mean it has to be, it could be like a Donkey Kong Country, like a reimagining of something that they already have. I mean, I guess Star Fox Racing would come under that, but I'm just saying that there's some gap in their holiday that they haven't filled that has to be filled with something big, and I think they want it to be a surprise because as much as we're excited for Smash Brothers, it's a little predictable compared to like who knew that Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee would be what they were going to be.
Yeah.
Right? You know,
Well,
they were more surprising, and I think that's great for their company and the Switch.
I think Smash Brothers can be predictable, though. I think in it. I mean, because I think if you get crazy with Smash Brothers, that
Oh yeah,
turns off people at that point.
You could both blow people's minds with Smash Brothers with just like 3 words: Subspace Emissary 2.
Exactly.
Whoa.
So,
Yeah.
so you think some kind of brand new IP will be?
Let's just say a brand new game concept. I'll put
Okay.
it that way because again, I don't want to say IP because it could be recontextualizing
Gotcha.
something like how WarioWare or Dr. Mario are not new IPs, but they're new ways to make games with their existing stuff.
Finally get the Waluigi game that everybody wants.
Could be. No, I mean, it could be something like that. I mean, I kind of hope that WarioWare Gold does really well in the 3DS and makes them go and make more of those. So.
Yeah.
But it's fun to watch Nintendo just because it hasn't been since the first year of the Wii that Nintendo's going like, we're doing great.
Yeah.
And it's kind of nice to see them back on top a little bit. Hopefully they don't squander that.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah, that could definitely.
Well,
that
I don't think they will because I think they're still just super hungry that this thing's going to fail because I think the Wii U was in their minds a slam dunk and failed terribly.
Yeah. Well, the big thing is the marketing for the Switch has been so much better than the Wii U
Oh,
right
yeah.
off the bat. So, but anyways, those are our E3 predictions.
Yeah, check back with us and see if we're wrong.
Yeah.
Now, if you recall last year, we did E3 where you watched with us the press conferences. We're not doing that again because the reason our channel is so anemic right now is because we got hit with strikes and for like half a year couldn't post anything. So we will not be doing that. We might stop after the press conferences and make
talk
some
about them,
mentions or do a
yeah.
roundup maybe on Tuesday. I don't know. But we will definitely be checking in with you sooner than later. But yeah, it's going to be fun to go indoors and sit in the glow of television.
Eat food that's not good for us.
Oh, terrible for us.
Absolutely awful for us.
Find out what will waffle.
Lots and lots of waffles. We might do a video of that. We'll see what we can waffle.
Yeah, we can do that.
Yeah, there we go. See? You can see us waffle stuff.
You're home for video game content and waffle content here at GTAB. And for GTAB, I'm Mac.
I'm Kaz.
Bye.
Let us know what you want to waffle.
Do that.